back to the phone lines. I think it is time now to speak to Pablo. Pablo is a West Ham fan.
Hi, Pablo.
Oh, I love the celebrations. How are you, boys?
Yeah,
Very
good. How are
good,
you?
very good.
When the first goal went in, the tannoy at the station on the stadium, the South Americans always go potty, don't they?
Yeah.
It's brilliant. And I think the country's going to do. Boo! Shut up. The dog started.
What was
now.
that?
The dog. Because I started going.
Sounded like a dash hound.
No, she's a Pouchon called Boo. She's mad.
She's a what?
A Pouchon.
Oh, yeah. What's her name?
Yeah, Dr. Boo Constable.
Dr. Boo Constable. Okay, nice. How's she doing?
Yeah, so she's good. She's good. So yeah, I think the whole country's going to be a lot happier now. Like the World Cup started, and like there's been tension, isn't there? And it's joyous, isn't it? And we wait 4 years for it, and it should be about the football now and nothing else.
Do you know what,
Really?
Pablo? I was going to say to Rory before he brought you on, we should ask everybody who comes on, an outsider, who they think's going to do well. Now, I think Norway are going to do well. What do you think?
Yeah, Norway, maybe. I haven't really thought about it. I haven't seen anyone play, but other than tonight, let me think. I don't know.
Why don't you just say I haven't got a clue?
Who are you thinking of here, Pablo? You know, it's important that you give it the due diligence that it deserves. It's important that you really do take the time and think about this. What are you leaning towards?
What, with England or?
No, you're outsider.
My outsider, maybe Germany.
I don't know if you can say Germany is an outsider.
No, they're one of the favourites.
Germany can't be an outsider, can they?
Well, they're not fancied, are they, very much?
Well, they are. Belgium is another one. You can't pick Belgium either. Because they're like...
Germany have won 4 World Cups. Surely anyone that's got 4 can't be considered. That'd be like me going, I feel like Brazil, a bit of an outside shout.
Well, they're behind England, aren't they, in the odds?
Yeah, but realistically, if we're talking outsiders, Germany is an outsider.
I'd like Scotland to win it as an outsider, but...
That would be good, I think. I'd be...
Yeah.
You know, I'm Welsh, right? But I want England to do well, and I want Scotland to do well, because the World Cup lasts longer, doesn't it? The interest keeps going right to the end then. If they both get knocked out early, spoils the World Cup for me. And I'd rather England win than Italy, or like, I know Italy are not in it, like France, Belgium. I'd rather an English 11 beat anybody else.
Yeah.
And I'd rather Scotland beat anybody else.
Yeah. So, Pablo, what are we saying?
Saying about Mexico, if we meet them in that stadium, can you imagine the atmosphere for them?
We're on course to meet them.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? In that stadium.
Do you think we beat them?
Yeah, we could beat them.
Didn't see anything in the Mexico side tonight to worry you?
No, not overly. We could handle them. It'd be a tough game. All games are tough, but see how we get on against Croatia first before we start.
Lovely.
Again.
It's a great call, Pablo. It's a great call. Thank you very much for your time.
Player, Rory, isn't he? Jimenez, but he's past his best, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he's just signed. He just signed for Wolves, isn't he, in the Championship?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so he's not like at the peak of his career. He's a good striker, though, and he gets on the end of crosses. And he, like you said earlier, he fractured his skull, and he's lucky to be playing again. But it took him about 2 years, didn't it?
Yeah. What do you make about what's happened with Wolves? Have you seen the news?
Yeah. Well, similar to what I was in a similar situation.
Really?
Well, yeah, you pick somebody else's mess up. I was the 4th manager in 12 months. Obviously, when the club starts sliding, the ship is sinking.
Yeah.
It's hard to stop it, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
Sunderland have had it as well. This bigger club like Ipswich ended up in League One, didn't they, for a bit?
Yeah.
When that ship starts sinking, it's hard to stop.
I can't believe Rob Edwards. I felt like he'd done very, very well there. I was so surprised.
Well, surely they brought him in to get him back up.
Yeah.
That was the plan, I thought. They brought him in not to... It was like...
And he did quite well in the Premier League in the games that he had left. Like, they were already effectively down when he took over.
Yeah.
And he got some big results.
Yeah, and really, football hasn't got unfair dismissal, has it? Because he's not spent a load of money and changed everything. It was the same players that were there that were losing.
Yeah.
So it's if there was a case for unfair dismissal,
this would be it.
This would be it, because he's obviously his job description when he took the job was probably this. I don't know. Do your best. It looks like we're going down, but work it out who you want to keep and who you want to get rid of, and get us back up next season. If you don't get us back up next season, then we'll have to reconsider your job. Yeah. But that's the job description.
Very, very weird. Very surprising news. Any Wolves fans want to have your say, give us a ring. 03717 22 3344. We'll go back to the phone lines now. We'll talk to Tim. Tim, you're a Man United fan.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah, that's right. Hi, how are you?
Very good, very good. Good. Where are you from?
I'm calling from Canada.
Oh. What's the weather like there?
You've got the Canadian flag behind you, Dean.
Oh, yeah.
I was hoping Dean would be okay with me calling, because I know we've had our bust up with Wales in that friendly to Craig Bellamy, and it wasn't too fond of the Canadians after the game, but...
right, yeah, you had to go to Jesse Marsh, didn't he? Did he celebrate before the final whistle went? No, I mean...
Yeah.
I mean, my first goal I ever scored for Wales was in Canada. We played Canada in Toronto, and then we played them in Vancouver, 2 games back-to-back in a week. And we won the second game, drew the first game. But I come away from Canada thinking Toronto is the cleanest place I've ever seen in my life. There's not a bit of litter anywhere. Magnificent.
It's a great host city for a World Cup, for sure. The weather here is it's not as hot as it gets in the United States generally at this time of year. So like down south, it's probably about 21, 22 degrees tomorrow at kickoff. So it's overcast, so it should be a good environment for a game as well. And I think we're all hoping that Canada can get off the mark with take something from the Bosnia game. I think they have to take at least a point from that game to try to get out of the group for sure, and then beat Qatar in the next game. It's going to be important for them to get off the mark tomorrow, though, for sure.
Do you feel like you can do it, Tim?
Yeah, I think we're still a young country in these major tournaments. Obviously, we hadn't been in a World Cup since 1986 before Qatar. We scored our first goal at the Qatar World Cup, but we haven't picked up a point yet at a World Cup. So I think the players will be nervous. We've got a few injury concerns. Obviously, Alphonso Davies won't be fit. A couple other injury concerns, but I think the biggest challenge for us is we really struggle in front of goal. Kyle Larin, he's coming off a great season at Southampton, so he'll be partnering Jonathan David as likely the front two. So we've got the punch. It just seems that we played a friendly against Ireland on Friday. Dominated the game, controlled the tempo, but we just struggle being decisive in front of goal and finishing our chances when they come. So I think that'll be the biggest thing to look out for.
It's not a bad group for you. Looking at the group, Bosnia, Qatar, Switzerland. The Swiss are good. Obviously, you've got to do your best to get a decent start against Bosnia. And Qatar, this is Qatar's first World Cup that they've qualified for.
For sure. It's going to come. Switzerland will be our toughest game. It's going to come down to the Qatar game for us to get out of the group. If we can take a point against Bosnia, I'd be happy with that. Obviously, I'd be delighted to take all 3. But it's really that Qatar game that I think you'd point to with the new format, with 3 coming out, that if we can get a victory in that game with a comfortable goal difference, that would parachute us through. If we can't beat Qatar at home in the World Cup, we've got bigger problems. So
there's an outsider, Switzerland. Got the same team. Experienced players.
Yeah, they get good results as well, don't they?
Yeah. Tim, I was going to ask you, football, as soccer as you call it, is it more popular in Canada or the USA?
I'd say both, to be honest. It really, Dean, since the advent, I guess, of MLS, and we're a nation of immigrants, so we had Alphonso Davies, Haitian descent, Stefan Eustachio, our captain, Portuguese descent. Really, I think the game has grown so much over the last 10 years. We were really behind the U.S. and Mexico, probably 10, 15 years ago. I remember just getting absolutely battered. And probably when you played them, I mean, you probably can reflect when you played Canada, the difference between, say, playing Canada and the U.S. and Mexico at that time. But in the last qualifying campaign for the World Cup in 2022, we actually won the group against Mexico and the U.S. We actually beat them here We went undefeated against them in qualification. Went to the Azteca and got a draw at the Azteca against Mexico in qualification. So we've really caught up. Canada's really caught up a lot of the other countries in CONCACAF. And so I think people are really looking towards this as our coming out party.
Amazing.
Hopefully.